What happens when the dark side of ambition collides with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism? Darth Vader, the feared enforcer of the Empire, master of power and relentless ambition, versus Seneca, the Stoic philosopher teaching self-control, virtue, and ethical mastery. Watch until the end. Comment what you think, who would win, and subscribe now, because this clash may change the way you see power, morality, and the true measure of greatness. Welcome to the debate of Darth Vader versus Seneca.
Power is not given. It is taken. Fear, strategy, and relentless pursuit define those who shape reality, who command empires, and who bend the universe to their will. I have walked through fire, crushed rebellions, and faced enemies who thought they could challenge me. They failed. Power is not a suggestion. It is a discipline, a test of vision and strength. Every decision, every strike, every calculated move has brought me closer to mastery. I have sacrificed, endured, and commanded beyond imagination. The weak cling to comfort and morality as if these shields protect them from the world's harsh truths. They fail to understand that control over others, over circumstance, is the true currency of survival and dominance. Desire without action is meaningless. Ambition without consequence is weak. I act, I enforce, and I create results where others see chaos. Leadership is forged in the crucible of challenge. To guide legions, to control the tides of conflict, one must embrace the darkness within, understand the limits of fear and loyalty, and wield influence with precision. Ethics are irrelevant if they obstruct the path to victory. Only outcome matters. The galaxy is unforgiving to those who hesitate, and fortune smiles upon the decisive, the relentless, the ones who seize what others hesitate to claim. Yet power alone is not enough. It must be absolute, unquestioned, and unchallenged. The mind shapes strategy, but execution commands reality. Ideas without force are illusions. Strength without vision is wasted. Every victory, every conquest, every lesson learned in fire and steel has honed me into what I am today, a being beyond weakness, beyond doubt, beyond mercy. I challenge you, Seneca, to see if your words of restraint and moderation can withstand the weight of empire. Can philosophy prevail against the might of the dark side? Can virtue triumph where fear, precision, and power dictate the course of history? I have mastered what lies beyond control and bend the galaxy to my will. Let us see if wisdom alone can challenge the hand that shapes destiny. I am Darth Vader, and I know this universe rewards those who act decisively, wield power relentlessly, and accept the cost of greatness. Observe carefully, for the lessons are not gentle. The consequences are absolute. This is not merely a debate. It is a test of will, strategy, and the very nature of power itself.
Darth Vader, your power is undeniable, and your mastery over fear and circumstance commands awe. You have demonstrated what human determination and will can achieve in the external world. Yet I must remind us all that true strength lies not in dominion over others, but in mastery over the self. Power without virtue is fleeting. Influence without wisdom is fragile. The Stoic teaches that the external world, empires, wealth, fear, and even life itself, is largely beyond our control. Fortune is indifferent. It is neither good nor evil. The measure of a life well lived is not the obedience of subjects, nor the extent of one's reach, but the serenity of the mind, the integrity of action, and the alignment of life with reason. You speak of fear, strategy, and absolute power as the pillars of success. Admirable in their own realm, but insufficient for fulfillment. A mind enslaved by desire for control is never free. Every action taken in anger, every conquest made without virtue, sows the seeds of unrest within. To act ethically, to restrain impulses, to prioritize wisdom over domination. This is how a life achieves durability, even in the face of adversity. Consider this: the truly powerful are those who rule not only through might, but through reason, justice, and temperance. Authority without self-mastery risks collapse. Fear may bend others to your will, but only reason cultivates respect. Only virtue secures lasting influence. To endure hardship, to face loss without despair, to moderate desire without surrender, these are the acts that define greatness in its truest sense. You challenge philosophy with force, asking whether wisdom can withstand power. I respond, philosophy does not seek to dominate, but to endure, to guide, and to illuminate the path even amid chaos. External victories are transient, yet mastery of the self is eternal. Desire restrained, anger tempered, and reason prioritized. This is the foundation upon which any lasting legacy must rest. Darth, I do not dismiss your achievements or the scale of your command. But I ask all who listen, consider where true power lies. Not in fear or conquest, but in calm judgment, ethical action, and the serenity that comes from living in harmony with reason. Control over oneself is the arena where every human may triumph, regardless of circumstance, fortune, or empire. And it is in this mastery that real greatness endures, long after empires fall and fear fades into memory.
Seneca, I hear your words, and I respect the wisdom behind them. You speak of serenity, ethics, and self-mastery as if they alone define strength. Yet ask yourself, what is wisdom if it cannot protect, if it cannot shape the world around it? Power is not a tool to dominate blindly. It is the only means to impose order, to prevent chaos, and to ensure survival in a universe governed by conflict. Fear and ambition are not vices. They are instruments. They sharpen resolve, focus the mind, and inspire loyalty. I have faced betrayal, rebellion, and the fragility of those around me. The galaxy does not reward restraint. It rewards action, decisiveness, and the ability to enforce one's will. Reflection without execution is weakness. Philosophy without force is a shadow. Ideas alone do not secure peace. They must be backed by strength, by presence, and by the courage to act decisively. You suggest that inner virtue is sufficient to withstand fortune. Yet I ask, what good is inner calm when external threats overwhelm? A mind untested by adversity is no true measure of mastery. Discipline alone does not protect worlds. It does not bend others to reason, and it does not stop destruction. One must act, sometimes ruthlessly, to achieve order and maintain control. Yes, power corrupts, but power restrained by conviction, strategy, and vision becomes the ultimate instrument for shaping destiny. Seneca, I do not despise your counsel. Restraint, wisdom, and ethical guidance temper ambition. But without the courage to exert power, without the willingness to confront fear, without the readiness to take action when the moment demands it, philosophy risks irrelevance. The galaxy respects strength as much as reason, and survival often demands both. To leave a legacy, one must combine mastery of the self with mastery over circumstance. Discipline without execution is an incomplete path. Virtue without influence is powerless.
Darth, your argument is forceful, and your reach vast. You have demonstrated how fear and power bend the will of others, how ambition drives action, and how courage shapes empires. Yet I caution, dominion over others is no guarantee of peace within. Empires crumble, fear dissipates, and influence wanes, but mastery of the self endures. External victories are fleeting, internal strength is eternal. You argue that action and decisiveness are paramount, and indeed, action is necessary. But let that action be guided by reason, tempered by ethics, and aligned with virtue. A life ruled solely by fear and ambition is never free. It is a prison of constant unrest, driven by desire, anger, and uncertainty. True power is exercised not only outwardly, but inwardly. The mind and soul govern the quality of life, and without their discipline, even the greatest external triumphs are fragile. Consider the consequences. Unchecked ambition corrodes judgment, excessive power breeds tyranny, and reliance on fear fosters rebellion. Wisdom does not forbid action, it refines it. Virtue does not reject courage, it directs it. To rule justly, one must understand both the limits of control and the nature of humanity. Empires rise on force but endure on justice. Authority lasts when tempered by reason, integrity, and foresight. You claim the galaxy rewards power and decisiveness, and I do not deny it. But the Stoic teaches that life's measure is not applause, fear, or dominion. It is the alignment of action with moral principle, the cultivation of calm judgment, and the endurance of the soul amidst fortune's uncertainties. To act boldly is commendable, but to act wisely is transformative. External achievements may vanish, but the discipline of the self is impervious to time and circumstance. Darth, wield your strength, confront adversity, and shape the world. But never neglect the inner arena, the mind, the reason, and the virtue that ensure lasting influence. True greatness is the union of power and self-mastery, courage and ethical conduct, ambition and wisdom. Only then can one leave a legacy that survives both fortune and fear.
Tonight, we witness a clash of shadow and reason. Darth Vader showed the might of ambition, power, and decisive action, how one can shape the galaxy through fear and strength. Seneca reminded us that true mastery comes from within, the control of desire, ethical discipline, and the cultivation of virtue. Life calls us both to act boldly yet wisely, to pursue goals with courage, yet guided by conscience. Who won this clash of minds? Comment below and let us know. Subscribe now and prepare for more legendary debates where wisdom meets power.